In our first doubleheader, we saw us have a pretty poor game against the Cardinals, another divisional loss in just what was a complete dominating show from the Cardinals. But we did see some good play from Kenneth Murray Jr., and in the next game, he got the opportunity for a breakout performance to level up to a superstar dev. And against the Browns, he got the job done. And it wasn't just him that got the job done, as we, with a late game field goal, got our first win on the season, 13-10, upsetting the Cleveland Browns. Now, as we start this episode, again, we're going to see how the first game goes as voted on by you guys. And there's even been some more votes coming in after that have definitely pulled the two games ahead. But we're going to stick with the hybrid kind of idea for the rest of season one. If game one is close, a nail biter, and we need to watch the whole thing to get a good story, really, of how that game went, then that's what we're going to do. And we'll stick to the one game. If it ends up being a blowout, we'll go back to the two. Worked pretty well for us last time. We'll see what happens here as we are going against the 6-6 Baltimore Ravens. They still are a really well-built team, 87 offense, 85 defense for an 86 overall, but some reason they're just 500 on the year. It would be fantastic if we could send them below 500. But we'll see how this game goes and how our team responds after getting their first narrow win. And it will be defense up first as we get this game underway. The big boot from Brown will be a touchback for Aguilar, as the Ravens will start back at the 25 for Lamar Jackson. And like I mentioned, a pretty well-built offense. What was it, 87, I believe? Lamar Jackson just 3 interceptions on the season, 24 touchdowns, though not a whole lot of passing yards. And the scouting report didn't show him running all too much, though we'll see if that remains true, as it looks like it might be a power run to this right-hand side. And indeed it is, which we clog up pretty well across the middle. Seiler gets the stop. We saw the defense put together their best game in the second game of last episode against the Browns. Would love to see that carry on as they go back down the middle. And they'll gain a couple yards there, gain of 3. We'll make it a 3rd and 6, which will come out with a slightly... I've been playing around with the nickel formations, and in 3rd down, I've been trying to have a few more guys down on the line just to see if that'll help. And they'll mark that one 4th and inches. He falls down with the ball on the wrong side of the body. So the defense will get an early stop, though not by much, but I'll take anything we can get. As for this offense, I want to say a breakout performance, but we did see a really good performance from DeGuara on the outside, though does not help us get any block on the first play. He did have a really nice touchdown on the wheel route. Try to find it again later on, and it was an awful throw from Bennett. So potentially we might need to get the fullback a little bit more involved as we try to break to the outside, but a great tackle there from Humphrey. We just get 2. And almost surprisingly, with the first win, we really saw some poor play from Johnson, who up to that point had been one of our best receivers, as there is absolutely nothing doing for us on that play. We'll have to throw it away. So first drive of defense goes well. First drive of offense, very much not so. But in a way, that was the recipe for success last week against the Browns. Offense only scored 13 points. It was the defense that really kept us in it and bought us time, as Gus Edwards picks up a first down and a good little bit more up to the 45. As long as we can keep the running game in check, try to do our best against the passing, I think we'll be okay in this one, as they've gone with a lot of running right down the middle as Murray gets stuck in, his recently developed to a superstar, though doesn't really get a lot of great traits with that development, though. So we'll see how that goes, as he hopefully will start to increase his rating. Not going to quite get the first down there. We will eventually get the stop, a 3rd and 1. Now with all the running inside they've been doing, I feel like this would be a great play to go with a read option. We'll see what the Ravens call, as it's just going to be a quarterback power run that gets slowed down by Bonito and then cleaned up by Brown. Defense once again forces the punt. Now, if only the offense can take a little momentum, if you will, from this defense and get things moving. Obviously, you can see the playoff picture here, and we pretty clearly aren't going to be a part of it with just the one win. As we do start with a 1st and 10, trying to set up the halfback screen as they do send a bit of a blitz. Just need a couple blocks here, get back towards the middle, and we'll pick up the 1st down. Not exactly how you want those to run, but it works for us. And that's just very much how we run this team. Not conventional, just see whatever works. Or try to see whatever works. As we go out to Allen, 1st down on the catch. He is once again in that starting spot with Max Williams still injured, which is honestly just another unfortunate thing, as Williams was starting to put together some really good play. We'll stick with the run here on the RPO, and Akers will maybe pick up a couple. We have a couple young guys that really might be due a contract extension. We'll talk a little bit about that as the season starts to come close to an end, but Akers is one of them, as well as Murray, as we do get the 1st down there, our best run so far. But also, we just have a lot of work in just rebuilding this entire roster, as once again, I kind of want to send DeGuara on the wheel. We'll see who ends up getting open, as we do have Allen across the middle, but another really bad pass from Bennett. I will say I don't believe we're going to be re-signing a lot of guys from this current team, and even some of them are ones that we traded for that really just haven't been all too impressive. But what would be impressive is continuing this drive, as it's 3rd and 6. Trying to wait for someone to get open. We have a couple different options. We'll throw it out to one of them, but Humphrey does come down to make the play. We had Johnson, and I believe it was also Julio, kind of sitting in the same spot, but waited too long. It's going to be another pick. But I would say Bennett's probably good for at least one of those a game. So if we could get it done with early, I'm fine with that. Trying to set up the halfback screen that Murray read. Not to say halfback receiver screen. Meets the guy at the point of the catch and knocks it free. Granted, I feel like I would have rather them caught it and then loss of yards, but can't be choosers when begging. Yeah, you know what I mean. Whatever that saying is, as Gus Edwards does pick up another 1st. Trying to riff off the beggars can't be choosers line, but didn't go too well, as we're about through the 1st quarter here. They will get the snap off in time, a little bit of some play action across the middle, and they will find their player, about a gain of 7 going to Flowers. But that will end the 1st quarter, the rookie with about a 7-yard grab, as it's been very close, and obviously the score very reminiscent of that. Defense does seem to be improving throughout the season, and this is a side that we've probably made more changes to, at least compared to the offense. Nice little juke there from Edwards will buy him enough time to get the 1st down and a few more blocks coming in. But definitely an interesting start here for the Ravens, as they have been primarily running the ball despite all the scouting saying that they are pretty much a pass-first team, as Hill has some space to the outside, trying to get to the edge, stumbling, and in. They will get a touchdown to begin the 2nd quarter. Justice Hill with a really good run. I mean, beautiful blocking up front, found the gap, just had to make one guy miss as Mullen came trolling over from the outside, didn't quite lay a big enough hit. Now let's see if this offense can just clean things up a little bit and finish a drive in a positive fashion. We don't need the touchdown, but a field goal at least would be nice, as we have a lead blocker in Akers. Johnson will hit the burners and we'll pick up a nice 1st down, crossing midfield to the 45. As we alluded to earlier, he's definitely struggled this mid part of the season. After he got his first couple starts, he really seemed like he could be a main guy for us, as Akers not quite gonna speed away, but a nice run once again, down to the 26 before Hamilton does knock him out. But yeah, we just need to see a resurgence in Johnson. He's been dropping passes when we don't really have a lot that we could really give up, as that pass is underthrown. Not even underthrown, but thrown behind. We had Julio for a touchdown, but instead will be another interception, this time going to Williams. And at this point you wonder if Not only is Bennett obviously not going to be their starting quarterback next year, but is he going to be on the roster next year as we get the pick? Jones trying to get to the outside, did not see Mark Andrews. Unfortunately, Dorrance Armstrong shaken up on the play. Does go back to what I was talking about last game, where every time we make a big play, we also seem to suffer injuries. But if we get the touchdown here, we could say it's for Armstrong, as congestion in the backfield definitely doesn't help. Loss of 2. And perhaps trying to go with a misdirection in the backfield when going up against Roquan Smith, maybe not the best choice. So let's not do that as we try to roll out here and not find a pass. We maybe had DeGuara, but the throws on the run haven't been all too good either. But I would really hate to miss out on this opportunity. We could at least get a field goal. At least we're still in range for that, though. I would love a touchdown. See if we can maybe get the inside release. We kind of did, but that pass definitely wasn't anything that we needed. So yeah, Bennett definitely putting himself in a bad spot moving towards this offseason. Potentially he might be a practice squad candidate or maybe even cut going into next year with the performance we've seen. But the silver lining is we do get some points on the board with a field goal. Now can we just keep the points spread to 4 and then try to get the ball back with another score? That'd be great, as Murray, not with a tackle for a loss. At least doesn't appear so. They do mark it as a 2nd and 10, so if there was any lost yardage, it was maybe half a yard at best, as we do send a delayed blitz and a beautiful route timing up. Well, we're pretty much right where we sent the blitz. So great play call there from the Ravens as they capitalize very well. Definitely drawing us in with the running and then perfectly timing those passes. As it is a 1st and 10 into plus territory, back to the run. They maybe gain 1 or 2 as now Aguilar, who just had that catch and run, bit shaken up. And he'll walk gingerly to the locker room for further evaluation. Looks like maybe an ankle injury, but might be a little too early to tell. As it's a 2nd and 8 here for the Ravens. Going to set up another passing play. Lamar scrambles, then throws Oppo as a flag comes in. And it's just a bonehead play on Bonito. We'll be roughing the passer, moving them down the field with a 1st down. A free 1st down on what was a throwaway. That's just something we can't give up much if we're trying to keep these games close. The throw to the outside, just outside of the defender, as now Hoach shaken up for us. His injury doesn't seem to be as bad as he just heads towards the sideline. We haven't seen a whole lot from him, if we are being honest. He is one of those guys who I'm considering maybe doesn't come back, as Adebo gets his long-awaited 4th interception. He has definitely been the best trade candidate that we, or tradee that we've brought in this year by far. And it will be just the 4th interception on the year for Lamar Jackson. Just a little bit underthrown. As we'll try to get to the outside, break the tackle, no. Definitely need to try to build an offense that can get Cam Akers going. He could definitely be a solid back. He's only 24 years old. Plus the market for running backs aren't really fantastic, as another pass. As I was just talking about Cam Akers being good for the future, he's shaken up again. The good thing is that he's just wanting a 2-year deal, and with the injury problems that we've seen from him, I think a 2-year deal actually might be pretty good, as we have a 3rd and 11. Who's going to make a play here? Trying to roll out. We have Julio, but don't have the time to throw it. 3 for 10 is Bennett, and will punt away. Well, luckily for Jackson, his interception did not really come back to bite him, as it's still a 1-score game, 7-3, as they go with a stretch to the outside on the read option. Flowers cuts up and will pick up 5. Did I say read option jet sweep? Just my calling a little bit off in this one, just almost as much as Bennett's throws have been not even a little bit off, but just off, as another 1st down gain by Edwards. Now, as we hit the 2-minute warning, I expect the Ravens to start pressing a little bit further downfield. They got in with a lot of runs, but late on here, I expect him to try to get a couple pop shots, as why did we not have a pass rusher rushing the edge? He was just standing there. And I'm pretty sure, no, they have turnover on that side. But I was pretty sure it was Bonito, the guy who just gave up a free 1st down last time, as Hill makes Murray look a little bit silly with the dive. Does pick up the first down on the screen, as he has their one and only touchdown on the day, though I think he's only really been out there, has gotten the ball 2, maybe 3 times. So he's been effective while out there, as Flowers with another grab was a bit slow to get up the last time, and seems like the season definitely taking a toll on the rookie. But that's really to be expected when it comes to transitioning from college ball to the NFL. The pass to the outside will at least knock him out of bounds. That catch going to Tylan Wallace. I can't remember if he's a second-year player or third. I remember watching him when I was in college. Big hit across the middle once again, Wallace, as now he's a bit shaken up and with a little bit of some jostling there. Maybe shouldn't do that if you're injured. Something those young guys just need to learn, I guess. As it's 2nd and 6, as they are making an audible. Flipping the formation, now 3 go off to the left, 1 to the right, though Edwards stays to the left, so not exactly flipping the formation, as it will be another pass to the outside, and unfortunately for us, Mullen not able to get the pick, which is fortunate for them, but also unfortunate that they had 2 receivers open. It could have been a touchdown. Instead, a 3rd and 6 as another audible coming in, sending another trips to that right-hand side. Edwards stays to that left, or actually maybe he did move that time. Either way, it's going to be an audible and a first down for Flowers at the 10. But the Ravens just have 34 more seconds to get into the end zone. Let's make an audible ourselves, as I didn't like the blitz with the trip set. And they will get the touchdown that they need. Rashad Bateman in the end zone will widen the Ravens' lead with about 30-ish seconds left in the first half. It was really a great call to beat the cover 2 that we ran, as we'll have 31 seconds, 3 timeouts to try to grab some points. How about quickly down the seam? Do find Rodgers. Let's call the first timeout there. Was thinking hurry up, but no. Let's call the first timeout. Was also semi-worried that Roquan Smith was about to get a pick there. Luckily, that's not what happened. That's potentially a false start on this left side of the line. And that's exactly what it ends up being. So we'll back up. 1st and 15. 27 seconds left. Let's see if we could set up the halfback screen. It was set up. We just didn't get the ball out in time. It was actually set up rather well, too. We had a couple blockers out in front for Akers, who is back in. I want to say it was a hip brucitis was the injury, as we'll try to get this one out quickly, though not getting very far. 3rd and 12. Needing probably another 20-25 yards for a field goal attempt. We do have our guy as Rodgers with another grab. We'll call our last remaining timeout. But that grab does put us in field goal range. Now we just can't take a sack. But I do want to still try to take a couple pop shots towards the end zone here. 1-on-1, back shoulder, Julio makes the grab at that front pylon. He's been great down the field, getting a couple of these grabs in 1-on-1, and that time was a much better throw from Bennett, hooking up with the veteran receiver. We'll watch the grab one more time. Spinning, that is the back shoulder throw that we've been looking for. And it's just plays like that that give you the slightest hope that Bennett is going to turn things around. I mean, if he could make that throw with his limited amount of throw power he does have, makes you really think that maybe he could do something. But I think he's at best going to be a backup for us moving into next season. Now, as we look around the league, Falcons up 7-0 as they are 9-3 on the year. Ritter and Robinson really leading that team well. Buccaneers just 5-7. As you take a look at the next matchup, the NFC North, a very highly debated division, moving into this next real-life year as the Lions, 3-9 on the year, are up 21-0 versus the Bears, who are having the better season. And for the last update, we have the Colts tied with the Bengals. Colts 7-5, Bengals 9-3. Richardson, 9 of 10 and a touchdown in the first half. Now, as we get our game kicked back off here, we will be starting with the ball, as Hodges Tomlinson will stay in the end zone. We'll start at the 25. Now, if we could build off that last drive, I think we'll be doing just fine. Though I don't want to get away from the running game too early here. We know that's what's been our better look the pretty much entirety of the first half of this season, as Akers, with an awkward fall there, he gets up fine. Kind of looked like someone rolled over an ankle, perhaps, just picking up 2. We'll keep him out there on 2nd and 8. Try to get back to the outside once again. A nice seal from DeGuara, though, a great tackle once again by Humphrey. But on 3rd and 3, we're to bring out Evans. And we're actually going to try to set up a little bit of some read option. But the block on the edge does not hold up. 4th and 5 back at the 30, down 4. Probably best to punt. And after a little bit of some kick-catch interference, Ravens will be starting at the 37. It was actually what should have been a penalty because they hit our punter. But refs decide no. They give the penalty instead to us with a pass across the middle. Murray just needed to take a couple steps back. Could have easily swatted that one away. But instead, it's another nice grab for the rookie in Flowers. He's really gotten stuck in well in this one. As they do go back to the run, that time Murray's there as well as the maybe second year linebacker in Jones. Either way, we have a very young tandem here at linebacker we could try to build around. Do still need some help in coverage, as there is a nice tackle by Murray in open field as Kobe Durant. A bit shaken up, he'll take a knee. He's definitely one of the young guys that I think has stepped up this season after moving to free safety. I feel like that spot really fit him well. The other safety spot, we've had a couple guys play there, Savage and what is his name? Nice interception. Speaking of Savage, who cares about the other guy as we get another interception. Jackson came in just 3 on the season, and who knows, he might be leaving with double that. Tried to get that one out to Wallace, who they went to a couple times late on in that first half. But just a great play by the guy that we traded, Matthew Stafford, plus we also brought in a couple late round picks for. But the other safety I was trying to think of was Fuller, who did start with us, and he's a young guy, maybe he could develop, but he just wasn't playing very well when he had the chance early on. So we went away from him, as we're going to not go away from Julio with another grab down to the 23. He definitely took a little while to get going after bringing him in, but for the past few weeks, he's definitely been our #1 target as Akers breaks the tackle, but is not going to speed away from Queen. We'll end up just netting 1 yard, leaving it 2nd and 9 with a little bit of some play action. Now, are we going to get anyone? No, but I'll throw out of the sack. But we'll spread wide here, 3rd and 9. Got trips out to the right, 1 to the left. Who's going to get open for us? Let's move around. Maybe try to buy some time. We have some blockers, though Akers does not pick up the block, but we will scramble for the first down with Bennett. Now, it's not exactly advisable to run right at Michael Pierce, but let's try to do that here with a fullback dive, and that's why you don't try to do it. Loss of 2. Try to just catch him off guard, but definitely did not work out that way. Would love Johnson to that back post, but yeah, we're gonna go the opposite way. Instead, Allen turns the corner and is in. Queen not able to get out there in time. Sent everyone to the right, left Allen alone to the left. But with that score, we've locked in a 1-game episode as we have taken a lead here. It's by no means massive, but for us, it's solid. 17-14 as we're about 3 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. Need to just continue playing our game with a pass to the outside, crash on it quickly. This time they do get the ball to Wallace. And I just caught the stat line there. It said Jackson had 3 interceptions. I forgot about the interception from Jones earlier. So we did double the interception total for Jackson on the day, though Gus Edwards has had a really good game. He's honestly really been their primary guy offensively, at least in a clean way. The passing game hasn't been awful, but those 3 interceptions definitely being costly for him, as we're going to make another audible here as they make their 2nd audible. We're still going to stick with what we're running. I don't like the cover 2 versus the trip set. So we'll stick with a little bit of a wider spread. Pass back out wide to Wallace. We'll pick up 5. But definitely as we move on to the next season, I think we are going to change defensive playbooks. I'm not a big fan of the Rams, but I did want to give it a year, kind of see how the team goes with it as Andrews breaks the tackle. Luckily, Bonito there to get the stop. Don't know why he was that far downfield as he's supposed to be rushing the passer, but in that case, helps us out. It's also the very first catch for Andrews on the day. So up till that point, we've actually done pretty well stopping at least the main guys here for the Ravens as Gus Edwards once again. And yeah, Durant did not want any smoke there. He just dived Gus Edwards can easily walk into the end zone. Oh, we did not hold that lead for long, just about 2.5 minutes. But that doesn't mean we can't find another as we start back at the 25, 36 seconds left here in the third. Really glad it's not in the fourth, as we need to be moving the ball much quicker than going with a run play one. But we should be in to the fourth after this play. We'll get one more snap off and then head into the last quarter of this game as Akers breaks to the outside, breaks one tackle, and will pick up an extra couple yards through contact. The only real separator between these two teams is the rushing yards, as the Ravens have more than double our total. But we've stuck with them in terms of passing yards. But obviously our passing game hasn't been all too well, and they've really just stuck with a lot of short throws as we're trying to set up the halfback screen. Why did he not throw it? I don't know, Madden's Madden. Apparently it really wanted us to have a sack, 3rd and 20. Hit the button to pass the ball about 2-3 times. It just didn't. With a pass across the middle, overthrowing Johnson. 4th and 20, we'll have to punt. Now we're really going to have to rely on this defense to come through for us if we're going to find a way back in front. We've forced 3 turnovers. 4th could be really handy for us, as it will be a pistol strong set. Going back down the middle, Gus Edwards with beautiful blocking and an interesting tackle attempt would technically work. Now it is a first down, but it did look like Pugh was a little bit shaken up there, so he'll head off the field as they'll stick with the pistol, this time a weak eye. As we send the blitz, Jones gets there, but too late as Ricard gets the first down and steps out at the 41. One of the rare times the blitz actually kind of works for us. Just didn't have enough time to get to Jackson, as it will be a first down for him. As they go with another pass, swinging it out wide, diving, Murray gets the tackle. And now an empty look. They've gone with running so much this game, I would figure in the fourth quarter they would stick with it. But no, going empty here as they try to set up some underneath passes, and oh, so close to another interception. Instead, first down, Justice Hill inside the red zone. Literally a half step away from completely changing the shape of this game. As it will be a shotgun pass, Jackson going swinging out wide once again. Edwards not going to really take a big hit. Durant's not the one to do it. But he will get the catch and pick up 5 as it's 2nd and 5 down at the 13. With a heavy set for both teams. Another Edwards run. Good cut. Breaking another tackle, but not getting into the end zone there. And now an empty set. Gonna force an audible for sure here for us. Definitely not the best formation to be in versus this, as a drop on the outside. Justice Hill cost them a touchdown here late. But a goal line stand here for us could be huge, as it is the goal line set that they are going to motion over likely to that right-hand side. Let's bring down Durant. They go with a play action pass, try to get back, and another interception at Debo, who does take the big hit by Ricard, luckily still in the end zone, his 2nd of the day. Keeps all points off the board and a chance for us to find a late lead. Paulson Adebo is just that dude on this squad, by far the leader of this team, as we try to find a cutback lane, and the ball pops out. Evans, the rookie running back, after we just got the ball back, possibly has coughed this game away. The combination tackle between Roquan Smith and Hamilton pops it free, and they'll be starting at the red zone. A beautiful chance to immediately capitalize as Flowers gets the touchdown and will widen their lead to 11 with just under 4 minutes left to play. And it's at this point that we really need the passing game to come through. I mean, there's not enough time here to be running the ball while getting down the field quickly enough to get the touchdown needed, as we have Julio at the sideline. He grabs it, but not in bounds. Definitely feel like we need to go Julio's way. He's the only proven receiver on this roster, at least more consistently, and we're not going to get anywhere with throws like that. We really just need yards. Simply put, we just need some yards. With a pass knocked away by the dropping defensive end. And at this point, you have to go for it here on 4th down. I mean, there's not really much of an option. Obviously, it's not a great spot, as if they get the first down, or if we don't get the first down, it's easy scoring as Johnson finally makes a play up to about midfield. But Baltimore is gonna challenge it, so we'll take another look. This is for the game, essentially, as it's an awful replay here for Madden. But despite the awful replay, it's a great outcome. We stay with the first down, setting up a rollout. Let's get this one to Akers, who can't squeeze it, and he takes the hit. You could argue for a penalty there, but none given. And really costly, because that could have at least been a first down. Now, press coverage on the outside. I would love to send Julio deep. Couple crossing routes across the middle, too. They leave them all. A is overthrown, and Bennett has thrown away the game. Hamilton, who helped force the previous fumble, gets the interception and what could very well be the game-sealing play. And those are just the throws that you cannot miss. I mean, that is a wide-open receiver, but you greatly overthrew it. We'll get the quick stop, as I believe that's Hoach, as Mark Andrews now shaken up. Hard to speak positives when there's an injury, but that does at least stop the clock for us. So there's that. Nice stop on the outside. Durant will call a timeout. 3rd and 6. We just need one more stop here. We'll get the ball back and see what we can do with about 1 timeout remaining, down 11. It's not fantastic as Likely gets over the top. He's sprinting away. Mullen will drag him down at the 5. But that'll just be to kill more time, as the Ravens have pretty much sealed this game up. It was a risky but well worth it play call there. As we're at the about 2.5 mark, they go the run. Edwards swallowed up by Murray. Now, unfortunately, I feel like this score here shows a game that wasn't as close as it really was. But that just happens sometimes, as Edwards will get a couple more yards as they're trying to tack on another score. Now, let's just see if we could get a corner blitz here off the edge, just to clean this game up a little bit, as it's a read option, as they do get the late touchdown. Not needed by any means, but they run up the score, widening their lead, and very much proving the fact that this game now seems like it was far more dominated by the Ravens than it actually was. Now, just really hate to see that tacked on score there, but that is just the game. But I do have to say, I think this team played really well. I mean, against the Ravens, we really gave them a run for their money. Unfortunately, it does end 35-17, but for a large portion of that game, our defense was outplaying Lamar Jackson. We did struggle against Gus Edwards, but overall, proud of this team. But as we bring this episode to a close, I did want to talk a little bit about the defensive line prospects, as that has been a group that continually just doesn't show up, really. I mean, there's at least no splash plays. We've done decently well in some games when it comes to rushing yards, but some other ones we give up a lot, like today. Gus Edwards was definitely a problem for us, and we don't really have anyone on the defensive line I think is a staple to build around for the future. So definitely wanted to take a second to talk about some prospects, and there are some pretty good guys at the top. Nick Bell out of Washington State, around 1 to 2, has A block shed with at least B power moves, potentially B finesse moves as well. We would have to further scout him to find out. But the problem with wanting some of these guys who are early on, like Brett Sims and Chris Wallace, who I would say Wallace probably the better of those two. And then at defensive tackle, surprisingly, the top guy is not as good as potentially some of the guys even lower. But the problem with going round 1 here, or even looking at round 1, is we really need to go quarterback with our first pick. I mean, that is almost a necessity. But we do still need help along the defensive line. So looking past the first, maybe even second rounds, what can we find in the 3rd and lower? There are some decent talents, at least when it comes to day 3 over here. Roy Coleman does have B finesse moves, is labeled as a speed rusher, but he also has B to D power moves, could potentially maybe have some dual ability there. Travis Thompson does have the B finesse, similarly to Antonio Newton. A little bit of some block shedding coming in here with Manny Shaw, and we do need help stopping the run as well, plus definitely need some amount of pass rush, which we really haven't had. At right end, there is George Nix, who has that A to C power moves, does not have any finesse moves, a little bit of some block shedding, and anytime we can find a dual kind of player late on, that's even better. There is Devontae McDougald in that same kind of range, again, with that B finesse moves, and potentially some block shedding as well, labeled as a speed rusher. I'd imagine that's maybe a C for block shedding. There is Josh Ward at day 3 with A to C for power moves, and then B for sure with Brian Fleming. And then a little bit further down, you have Enrique Blair out of Kansas, who has A to C finesse moves, B to D power as a speed rusher. If that's an A and a B this late, I mean, that would be absolutely perfect for us. When it comes to the DTs, though, really not fantastic. There's probably some decent talent like Connor Wilbur, who does have the B block shed and finesse moves, but there's no A for block shedding, which is a little bit unfortunate. Now, if we're trying to find a guy with possible dual abilities, there is Johnny Smith here in the round 3 to 4, which could line up perfectly with us. Out of Alabama, he does have the B to D block shed with A finesse moves, C power moves. Now, that block shedding could end up being a D, and he's just a rusher, which honestly I'd probably still be fine with that because we need some sort of rusher, and then look for free agency to find some run stoppers. There is Marco Harris, who does have the B to D for both block shed and finesse moves, and then just Joseph Stills, who's a finesse rusher. Bob Mackey, a potential split between finesse and power, both of those B to D. So there's some late options. Even Derek Burney, who is a day 3, A to C finesse moves with not much else in terms of power moves or block shed. So there are some later options, but us needing to go quarterback early on definitely is limiting things. And then plus we had looked at the cornerbacks as well after looking at the quarterbacks, and there's some guys too that really look good early on. Peter Rice continues to just look fantastic at 6'3", 190. Outside of the quarterbacks, he might be one of my favorite prospects in this draft. So we'll see what all happens when it gets time for the offseason, what trades we maybe will be able to make to maybe have 2 first-round picks. I'm definitely thinking at this point, with my favorite quarterback not being a top 5 and us most likely having either the 1 or 2 spot in the draft, that we could probably drop out of that top 5, hopefully, if it's possible, pick up 2 first-round picks, be able to grab a couple of these guys. That would be ideal. But as this game, the Ravens one, was pretty close up until the very end. We'll stick to the one game this episode. Again, I think the team played a lot better than that end score showed. Adebo, just fantastic. He did struggle a little bit. I will say that. A couple times he got beat by Flowers. Flowers just had a really good game. Defense played pretty well against a really good Ravens team. So hopefully we'll see that continue on throughout the remainder of this season and into the future. And if you want to see how well they do that, make sure you hit that bear icon in the bottom right, or scroll down, hit the subscription button, and tick that bell icon so you're notified when these videos go live. This series every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, with the state-only challenges, currently the Virginias every Wednesday and Saturday. So 6 full-length videos, plus the highlights that come out the day after the games. So just a whole lot of content all the time, plus some on the community tab, polls, or posting the players of the week from this series. So definitely make sure you guys are sticking around, and until next time, where it will be against the Washington Commanders. We'll see you guys next time.